times have Manchester United fans told themselves that this time feels different? Over the last few years, we have seen full storm after full storm. Brief moments of hope followed by the same disappointment, the same confusion, and the same questions about where this club is really heading. But right now, something feels different again at Old Trafford. And this time, supporters are starting to believe that maybe, just maybe, this team is finally finding its way back. The atmosphere has changed. The players look transformed. And with the club pushing toward a Champions League place, one massive question is beginning to dominate the conversation once again. Should Michael Carrick be trusted with the job permanently? Or is Manchester United in danger of repeating a mistake they have already made before? Right now, for the first time in what feels like forever, it actually feels good to be a Manchester United fan again. Watching this team push back toward a Champions League place has brought a level of excitement that honestly seemed impossible just a few months ago. As we sit here in April, United are right in the top 4 race, and the biggest difference is not just the points on the table. It is the feeling around the club. Old Trafford feels alive again. The players look like they believe in themselves again. And for the first time in a long time, supporters are starting to believe that this team might finally be turning a corner. There is structure, there is fight, and there is a sense that Manchester United are beginning to look like Manchester United again. A huge part of that change has come from Michael Carrick. Since stepping in as interim manager after Ruben Amorim left, Carrick has completely shifted the mood at the club. The team suddenly looks calmer, more balanced, and more confident. He has simplified things. Instead of forcing players into a system that never really fit, he has allowed them to play with more freedom while still keeping a clear shape. Players who looked lost earlier in the season suddenly look revived. Young talents have been trusted again. Senior players seem more comfortable. And perhaps most importantly, the fans can actually see a connection between the manager and the squad. He knows what Manchester United is supposed to feel like. And that emotional connection has made a real difference in a short space of time. But this is where the conversation gets complicated, because as exciting as this run has been, United fans have been here before. The moment Carrick started winning games, the calls began almost immediately for him to get the job permanently. And that is understandable. When a club legend comes in, lifts the atmosphere and starts getting results, people naturally want to believe they have found the answer. But that is exactly why some fans are being cautious, because the memory of still hangs over this club. Ole came in as caretaker. The football improved instantly. The mood changed overnight, and fans believed the club had found the perfect long-term solution. In the beginning, it looked brilliant. But once the emotional high faded, the deeper issues remained. The tactical limitations became harder to ignore, and the progress stalled. That is why many supporters now understand that a short-term bounce cannot be the only reason to make such a massive decision again. At the same time, Ruben Amorim probably deserves a little more credit than he is getting now. His time at the club did not work the way anyone hoped, and ultimately the results were not good enough. But he did try to put a clear identity in place. He wanted a modern pressing side. He wanted structure. He wanted to move the club away from old habits that had held it back for years. The problem was that his ideas never fully translated onto the pitch. The system often looked too rigid. Players struggled to adapt, and the team never found consistency. There were moments where you could see what he was trying to build, but in the Premier League, you don't get endless time, especially at a club like Manchester United. In the end, his vision may have had merit, but he could not make it work quickly enough. That is why the most important decision the club can make now is to stay calm. It would be very easy for Manchester United to get swept up in the emotion of the moment and hand Carrick the job because it feels right. But feeling right and being right are not always the same thing. This club has made too many emotional decisions in recent years. And if there is one lesson United should have learned by now, it is that the next manager has to be chosen with logic, not just passion. The board cannot afford another gamble. They need to ask whether Carrick can truly build a title-challenging side over several seasons, not just whether he can inspire a short-term reaction. That is why names like Nagelsmann, Iraola, and Glasner keep being mentioned. These are managers with defined tactical identities, strong coaching reputations, and experience building competitive teams. Someone like Nagelsmann would bring innovation and elite-level tactical flexibility. Iraola has shown in the Premier League that he can organise a team and get players to overperform. Glasner has quietly built a reputation as a strong man manager who can create disciplined football. The point is not necessarily that one of those names must be the answer, but that Manchester United need to conduct a serious search instead of repeating old mistakes. At the same time, Carrick still has a chance to force the club's hand. If he continues this run, if he gets United back into the Champions League, and if the team keeps improving week after week, then the conversation becomes very different. At that point, it would not just be emotion talking, it would be evidence. And that is the key difference. If Carrick wants the job permanently, the best way to earn it is not through nostalgia, not through sentiment, and not because he is a club legend. It has to be because he proves he can handle everything that comes with managing one of the biggest clubs in the world. What makes this moment so fascinating is that for the first time in years, Manchester United actually feel like a club moving forward instead of standing still. The summer is going to define everything. The next manager, the transfer window, and the direction of the squad could shape the next era of the club. And while there is still a lot of uncertainty, one thing feels clear right now. The excitement is finally back. The question is whether United can turn that excitement into something real this time, or whether this is just another temporary high before another painful reset.